There are seasons in my life that feel like this slow unraveling, where nothing around me seems to make sense and I don't quite have a clear direction on how to proceed. These are days when I don't even know what to pray, I don't know what to feel, and for the most part, there's just this darkness, this cloud of confusion around me. It almost feels like trying to breathe underwater. These are days when my spirit is really quite heavy. Things just look bleak and there's no clarity, no sense of understanding what I'm meant to do. These are days where even though I'm alive in body, and I know and believe that God is there, I don't quite feel that connected to Him. And so often when I'm in that empty, formless and dark space, I experience that my identity, my purpose and my faith just get blurred into this silence, and I'm stuck there with no idea of what the next step is meant to be. And the deeper danger of it is during those moments, as I try to navigate this inner void where I'm anxious and I'm uncertain, I know that I need to put my trust in God. I know that God is there, but because I can't see what He's doing, I open room for the enemy to move in and try and crush me under the weight of the unknown. So he moves in so relentlessly, attacking me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and trying to paralyze me. And so I find so much comfort when I read Genesis 1 verse 2 to 3, where the Bible says, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. But the Spirit of God hovered over the waters." And then it goes on to say, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light." Because right there, I am made to understand that even in the thickest of confusion in my life, God is ever present, hovering, waiting for the right moment to speak. So I don't have to have it all figured out before He can be present in my life. I don't have to have it all figured out before He can move to speak light into my life. So I simply have to stay still and stay close to Him, recognizing that He is the one with the power to speak the words, "Let there be light." And so no matter how much the enemy tries to use my inner turmoil against me, God doesn't need my perfection before He can move in my situation, before He can speak light into my darkness. God doesn't even need to start by fixing my formlessness. He starts by speaking light into it. This short but powerful statement, "Let there be light," is such an authoritative decree that God uses as a divine command to institute order into the darkness. It is important to note that right there, when God says, "Let there be light," the sun is not yet there. And so the light being spoken of is what's referred to as the primordial light. It is a symbol of God's presence, His truth, His revelation, and His life in any situation. It's a symbol of hope being born into a situation that was previously dark and undefined. It's also important to recognize here and to always be reminded that God is not an element. He is not the light. He commands the light. The light itself is not divine. It's a servant of the divine. It shines under God's authority. This has helped me to appreciate that God introduces light into my darkness before he moves on to work on the structure and the form that he has in mind for me. In other words, he first sends his truth and revelation before proceeding now to do the work of transformation in me. This also helps me to realize that this battle for clarity and breakthrough is strongest in my mind on both a psychological and spiritual realm. So he helps me here to understand that it is very necessary for him to shine his light into all the hidden corners of my life, into all the hidden crevices of my heart, to reveal the evils that are unseen in me, to reveal also the evils that are unseen in everything and everyone around me, so that everything is made plain before he moves to form and shape my destiny according to his will and purpose for me. It is here that I get to understand that when God speaks, "Let there be light," the darkness flees, fear cowers and bows in obedience, and the confusion fades. And I'm noticing also here that God doesn't concern himself with the details of the darkness, because he knows that that's the territory of an already defeated foe. God simply concentrates on speaking the light into existence. He doesn't try and remove the darkness, but rather he commands that there be light, and he allows the light to chase away the darkness. God's divine light will forever overcome the darkness. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. But the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. The Spirit of God is ever present, always steady, always hovering in our situations of darkness. Even where you feel like there's no way out, there's no hope. Trust in the presence of God. Trust in the Spirit of God hovering over the waters, over the darkness of your life. The temptation is always for me to try and fight the elements of darkness. But I've come to realize that that's where the enemy wants me to be, distracted, exhausted from trying to fight the darkness, consumed by trying to figure things out on my own. What Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 and 3 reveal is that the darkness is not my enemy to defeat. It is actually the backdrop against which God reveals himself ever so brightly, so radiantly in my life.